In this week's episode, I go on a rant about buying stuff you don't need. Hi and welcome to episode 28 of Business Greenhouse TV. Got a super tight schedule today. There's going to be less fluff and more just getting into the questions today. As most of you may know, by the time this comes out, I'll probably be on a plane heading to the US, launching the Kingdom Business Summit USA. So super pumped to be back over there, talking, training, speaking. Got to go to Seattle, Tacoma, and Portland, Oregon, and some surrounding chambers of commerce lunches I've got to talk at and stuff like that. So sort of 5 cities, 12 days. It's going to be a whistle-stop tour, but I'm pumped for it. Anyway, let's get straight into today's show. Michelle, what's our first question?
Graham Campbell asks, when is it acceptable to take holidays, and how do you balance that with the need to be a good steward of finance and spend money on purchasing clients? I hear what you say about not taking holidays and buying clients, but I don't want to get to the end of my life without having created any memories.
Graham Campbell, let me give you a shout out. One of the best guys around, runs Rubritech, that are the premier IT consulting, hardware fixing company in Nowra, Shoalhaven. In fact, so good that Graham, the owner, actually consults to the US government. So right in your neck of the woods, Shoalhaven, you've got somebody there that's amazing. So this obviously comes off the back of a training that I was doing when I did the summits around the country. And it was basically, like people need to stop buying stuff and start buying customers. And I started to give certain things a hard time, like people that go on cruises, buying Apple products, shoes, holidays. And so here's the thing, I get it. Like you want to create memories. Everybody does. But a couple of things to consider. First and foremost, life happens in seasons, okay? I think that people need to take far more seriously right now, today, in the current place they're in, about being a better steward of the money. Like so many people are paying themselves too high, trying to get out of their business the same amount of money they would get in a job, except they're not in a job, they're trying to build a business. So they've got to start living off less, putting more back in the business and start growing the business, okay? People are buying, the new iPhone 7's about to come out, and there'll be a whole flood of entrepreneurs who go down and buy one, and that'll be $1,300 or $1,500, and then they'll waste that money because it's a phone and they could have bought a different one and they can't, and so they'll go and buy all these things. They'll work hard and then go on a cruise and they'll go spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and still come back and go, well, I wonder why my business isn't growing. For a period of time, 12 to 24 months. You've got to be intense about customer acquisition. If you're at the stage right now where you don't have enough customers or you want to grow your business, then stop spending money on stuff and start spending it on customers. What will happen is that season will pass. You'll have enough customers. Business will be okay. You may not be chasing growth as much anymore. Then you'll have way more money to be able to create memories, okay? Those memories can be cruises, Apple products, holidays, whatever it is that you want to go and spend your money on. But you can't do both. You can't have it both ways. You can't, in the first season, be hedging your bets. I'll put a little bit in the business, but I'm going to put a little bit on holiday. Like the two don't work. You've got to go all in with one. Once it works, go all in with the other. Now, am I saying that you can't create memories in the first season? No, I'm saying you can't spend lots of money creating memories in the first season. You can go camping. You don't need to spend money to create memories with kids. You can literally just pack up and have a cheap holiday somewhere, okay? But you don't have to go and have a lavish cruise, because the difference is 10, 20, 50, 70, 100 customers in your business producing revenue given your referrals so that you get a better business down the line, okay? So we've got to keep it in check. I'm not prepared to back off the teaching that you need to stop buying stuff, and this is for everybody, stop buying stuff and start buying customers. When you know what a customer costs you, and that would be different for everybody. Somebody costs them, $10 to buy a customer, some 100, some 1,000, some 5,000. The number doesn't matter. When you know what the number is, okay, that it costs you to buy a customer, and let me just digress, how do you work that number out? You look at your total marketing budget divided by the number of new customers over a period of time. So if you spent $12,000 on marketing last year and you picked up 12 customers, every customer costs you $1,000, okay? Simple, divide into each other. When you know what that number is, you'll start to look at life differently. You'll start to look, if it cost me $1,000 to buy a customer, do I need the iPhone or do I need another customer? When you know the number, you can really start to be a good steward of what's coming in. And for a period of time, 12, 24 months, it might even be 36, but you're setting yourself up in such a way that you can then have massive business, massive influence, massive cash flow, massive memories for the rest of time. But it won't happen if you're trying to do both at one time. You've got to start living off less, stop drawing so much. An entrepreneur in their first 5 years should be living off 30, 40 grand, okay? Putting the rest back in, building the top end, chasing revenue, chasing growth, because then at one point you can turn that into profit and then you're going to make lots of money moving forward, okay? So we've got to stop buying crap we don't need and start buying customers. That's how you grow a business. That's how you grow revenue. That's how in time you'll grow profit. And that's how in time you'll have way more memories with all of your kids and way more stuff than you could ever enjoy. A little bit of a rant, but anyway, I had to get that one off my chest. I'm convinced that it's the way forward. Gazelle intense for a period of time, buy customers and don't buy stuff. Michelle, what's question number 2?
Priscilla Hamilton asks, as God gives me more clarity on my assignment, is it appropriate to share that information with staff and clients to give them a broader view of why they are important to my business?
Priscilla Hamilton, Heads Hair Studio in Casino, Northern New South Wales. Priscilla running a great business there. Business is going well. Businesses, the bookings are up, everything's up, and it's great to hear those stories. And super passionate, kingdom-orientated person. So great to have on the show, Priscilla. Okay, so you've got your assignment. Should you be sharing that stuff with clients and team members to let them know how valuable they are to the business? I'm going to go with it's a case by case. Everybody's different in this regard. Like some businesses are very family orientated. Okay, so in your case, there's you and there's a few other people. You've got this long-term staff that have worked with you and so forth. So you guys are a bit tighter. You're in a small environment. You work together every day. That's going to be different from a business where there's 150 staff, 200 staff, and there's a disconnect between the layers of management in the business between the business owner and the staff. So it's always going to be a case by case. I think that part of it's going to be you taking them on the journey. In my experience, your staff don't really come to work because they want us to get closer to our goals, okay? Unless in some way our goals help them achieve theirs, okay? Then you can enroll them on this journey and go, and they will want to come with you by default, and they will want to enjoy the successful wins along the way. I think if you've got one sympathetic to the faith, that makes it easier because that doesn't necessarily mean believer, but someone sympathetic to the faith that you can go to and explain why you want to be, having influence, changing culture, being a resource to the community, whatever that is. If you've got people sympathetic, they will understand that. If you don't, then I don't know that it's a smart move to always be communicating that because you can butt heads, gives them reason to leave, whatever, okay? So you've really got to weigh up, how are you taking them on this journey? See, the thing is, if you're at the point now where you feel like you can't go to your staff or your team and say, this is what I want to do with my life, this is what I want to stand for, there's the assignment that God's given me. If you're not there yet, that doesn't mean you can't. It might mean that you have to take really small steps, okay? So taking them on a journey, and it could be as simple as, let's say somebody's assignment was to go and, build wells in Africa. That's a pretty cool one because that's very acceptable for everybody. Like even people that don't want to know Jesus would think that that's a good thing. So if that's the simple one would be, at the next staff meeting, you announce that, you've partnered with a village and you're going to be going on a journey over 12 months, raising the money to go and do that for them, okay? And then reporting back on how that is. So whatever it is for you, you've got to find a way to start small, communicate it, maybe don't make it so much of a big deal. And over time of taking them on the journey, then they'll start to be bought into the story and they might come along with you, okay? But I think it's going to work best if you can find a way to enroll them. What do they get out of it? What's their benefit, okay? It can't be like, I'm putting all this pressure on you because I need to do my godly assignment. It needs to be, we're all heading in one direction. You get these benefits, I get these benefits, and society gets these benefits by doing my assignment, okay? Priscilla, you're well on your way. Keep growing the business, keep doing the thing, and you're certainly going to get there. Great question. Let's go to Word of the Week. All right, this week I am feeling particularly churchy, evangelical, evangelist, fire brimstone type thing. That's just what's coming over me this week. So we're going to go to Luke 15:19. Now, you know the story of the prodigal son. It's probably been taught once a year for every year of your Christian life in church. And so, it's normally taught about the story of the son. And obviously that's an absolutely beautiful story. When I came to the faith, it was a story that really made it for me to, I kind of could see how I could fit, okay? But really, I think the best part of the story is the father, okay? The father, his character is the one that's absolutely beautiful in this story, okay? And so I want to pick up at 15:19. The son obviously says, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and went to his father. Now, this is where the father is. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son. Remember that bit? He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. Did you know, culturally in the day, for a landowner to be caught running was the height of embarrassment. The height of embarrassment for a landowner culturally to ever be seen running. Now that's an interesting, that's why it's put in there, okay? Because we've got to understand the times of what's happening. The son said to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe, put it on him, put a ring on his finger, sandals on his feet, bring the fattened calf, and we're going to have a massive, one hell of a party, okay? How does that relate to business? Well, I know many of you, and maybe not all of you, but many of you have made some pretty big mistakes in business in the past. That could be because you were greedy. That could be because you didn't honor the Lord with your wealth. That could be because you ripped somebody off. There's a million things that took place. Even when you were a Christian, you may have made some mistakes. But I want to remind you that that's not the end game, okay? It doesn't matter how bad you've been or what you've done. If you're prepared to turn away, take the lesson, learn what you did and never repeat it, and focus back on Jesus, just like the prodigal son, he's always there with open arms running towards you. We have to, look, we're in a transaction-based world where you have to perform, you have to win. We're talking about changing culture, honoring God. But don't forget the gospel in all of this. And that is that, mistakes are wiped clean. We focus our eyes back on Jesus. Our past doesn't equal our future and all of those things. And that's the beauty of the Father in the story of the prodigal son, because he's always there, always open arms, always willing to take us back in. And I don't care if you've made a mistake yesterday, last week, 5 years ago, 25 years ago. Let's just remember the fact that when we are a redeemed believer, it all works out okay. So I want to give you permission to go back to God, press in, lean in, focus back on him, make him your number one, repent for the things that you did wrong, pray for the people that you might have let down, and let's get right back in under the wings of Jesus and enjoy that thing. Remember, he's always there. He's always coming out for you. And, you can make some mistakes, but you can always undo them, okay, by focusing back on Jesus. Hope you had a great week. Hope that was a valuable episode for you. I'll be back next week with some more stuff. I'm actually going to be doing more while I'm away live. Okay, so while I'm in the US, I won't have the facilities to do a show like this, but I still will be putting some stuff out. So hey, why don't you just get me some questions and I'll answer those while I'm in the United States of America. Bless you guys. Have a great week.